What should young women look for in a single guy? I'm going to tell you what I think. Hey all my friends, and welcome to the Truth Booth. Today's question is, what do I think young women should look for in a single guy? That's a great question because this is something I end up talking about a lot with the single women around me. There's two main things that I would say you should do if you're single and looking. But before I say that, I should say if you're single, don't be so caught up in the looking, okay? That's really important. Learn to have patience, learn to trust God. Don't get desperate, because that's not gonna help. But a lot of people suggest that you make out a list of the qualities that you would like to see in your future husband. I don't know if that's really good advice or not. I don't know. If you want to do that, I guess that's okay. But I think that also might feed the urgency and the looking and the anxiousness about it. So I don't know if that's particularly a good idea, but if you think it is for you, that's okay. But I heard from a young single girl one time some of the best advice I think I've ever heard about what to look for in a Christian guy that potentially could become a husband. And this young woman said, what I'm looking for is what the Bible outlines as a pastor or an elder, not because I necessarily want to marry a pastor or an elder, but when I look at those qualifications, why would I want to marry anything less than that? Pretty wise answer, don't you think? So let's look at that really quick. What does the Bible give as the qualifications of a pastor or an elder? Let's take a look. The two main places in the Bible where we find the passages for an elder or a pastor and the qualifications of him are found in 1 Timothy 3, 1 through 7 and Titus 1, 6 through 9. So I'm just gonna read a list of the things that are listed in those two passages, but I really encourage you to go look them up yourself, okay? Blameless as a steward of God, above reproach, faithful husband to his wife. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem because he won't have a wife. We're talking about single guys. Temperate, sober, vigilant, sober-minded, prudent. Aren't these great words? These are character words, right? Of good behavior, orderly, respectable, given to hospitality, able to teach, not given to wine, not violent, patient, moderate, forbearing, gentle, uncontentious, not soon angry or quick-tempered, not covetous, not a lover of money, rules his own house well, not a novice or a new convert. Aren't these great? Has a good rapport or reputation with outsiders, not self-willed, a lover of what is good, just and fair, holy and devout, self-controlled, holds firmly to the faithful message as it has been taught. I just think that's just the wisest piece of advice I could give, is observing these qualities in the men that are around you. You may listen to a list like that and go like, there are no men like that. It's not saying that they're sinless. You are going to marry a sinner just like you are a sinner. That these are deep character qualities. And I have to say, in being on the other side of marriage and doing a lot of marriage help and marriage counseling, these are the things that if they are not in place in a man, causes a lot of heartache. It doesn't mean that he wanders from some of these sometimes, but that his goal is to be this person. Well, you might say, those are qualifications for a pastor. I'm not going to marry a pastor. But why would you want to marry anything less than this? Why would you? We visited an Amish church one time, and it was so impacting because they explained to us the way they choose their pastors. Every year, all the men that are of pastoral age and who are already fulfilling the qualification of not a novice in the faith come together, they pray. They put a pile of hymnals in the middle of their group. One of those hymnals has an X in it on a piece of paper. They pray over those hymnals. They reach in, they each take one out, and the one who has the X is the pastor for the next year. Now that may sound really wacky, but I want you to think about that for a minute. The statement is that if you are a man in this church, you should be qualified to pastor this church. You should be this kind of man, or we're not doing something right. And that's how they would choose their pastor. It also, they were saying, makes it so there's not as much criticism because it's going to be their turn one day. I just think it's great. But I just wanted to say that just to encourage you that this is a great list of qualifications. So number one, I would say if you're going to make a list, make it this list that's lifted right from the Bible, and make this your goal in a man that you would consider marrying. Number two, my suggestion is, far before you are ever interested in somebody, that you develop a few friendships around you of people that you really trust and who really know you. And it's super important that these people are not people that are trying to matchmake for you, that they are not people who are constantly giving you the nudge, that they are not people who think that somehow your value lies in whether you're married or not. You want the kind of people who are sober, who are interested in you and what is good for you, who celebrate your singleness and encourage you in it, and who would be devastated to see you enter into a marriage that is anything but fruitful. You need to surround yourself with a few of those kind of people and talk with them way ahead of time that you want their help in this whole thing called waiting patiently. Ask them to hold you accountable, that you're not slipping into that area where you're getting anxious and feeling depressed because everybody around you is getting married and all of those kinds of things. Ask them to hold you accountable and to lead you back to the gospel when you have those weak moments. But also ask them to hold you accountable that you're not getting so impatient that you're lowering this standard right here, that you're falling into a place that you think that guy is never there, and if I ever want to get married, I'm just going to have to settle. Make sure that they know how important that is to you ahead of time. And then if you are interested in somebody, ask them to hold you accountable, that you're not flinging yourself at them, that you're not being a flirt, that you are being sober-minded. Ask them to hold you accountable, that you spend a lot of time observing this person, a lot of time observing this person. Bring them into that observation process. Be open and say, I've noticed this guy, and wow, I'm noticing a lot of awesome character in him, and I'm just kind of observing. And I want to see these things that the Bible lists as the qualities of a good man. I'm going to do a whole video series on this, so I can't get into a lot of that now, but I'm just saying that should be your starting point. Perhaps you are fortunate enough to be in a church that has built that kind of culture in the church, that asks all single people to be sober-minded about their singleness, and asks you to help each other, and asks married couples to help you too, and tries to make sure that it doesn't become something where people just want to get married. Maybe you are fortunate enough to be in that kind of a church, but most people aren't. So you have to kind of build that culture around yourself. You have to find those people that you can depend on, that know that this is what you're looking for, and are going to help you be observant for these character qualities, these kind of character qualities. So those are the two things that I would suggest, and I am going to do a video series on this because I get asked about this kind of thing all the time. And so take what I say, go and read this yourself in the Bible, and recognize that these would be good things. If I was doing it all over again, these would be the things that I would want to see in a man, before I even entered into anything serious with him. These would be the checkpoints. These would be the red flags that would cause me to go, you know, I'm just, no. Okay? So single people, find people that will be committed to you in your walk as a single person, and write these things out. Think about them, pray about them. Start observing these things that you see in married men. They're watching out for their wives and are good fathers. I'll tell you, these characters are going to show up in them, and I think that's what you want. So that's my truth for today, and thanks for asking. See you next time. Oh, and aren't my sweet peas just lovely? I just picked them fresh in the garden and put them in this video just for you, and I wish you could smell them because they're amazing.